Welcome everyone to the Omie D and Fish Sports Show, Sports Hour, Sports Plethora, Sports Roundtable, just everything and all things sports. I am Rodney Fisher. You can call me Fish. These opinions that are coming to you today or wherever you're listening to them right now are coming from the south side of the Trinity River. So without further ado, let me bring on the star of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, the man whose opinions are always respected and always validated and, of course, always entertaining.
Thank you. Thank you.
None other than Omie D.
Thank you, man. It's great to be in a place where you're respected. A lot of my opinions sometimes have been found to be right.
Right.
If you do follow the NTX game lineup, you did hear a interesting call on the playoff game. And
oh, yeah, we got to talk about that.
And
we got to talk about that one. Because it's got a lot of people talking. And anyway, I don't want to talk too much.
So. Well, yeah. So it's great to be here. Great to be here with my man Fish, man. We're just going to bring you some sports, like we said, from the south side of town. You know, hey, we're here in Dallas, Texas. Big shout outs to everybody checking us out here in Dallas. Shout outs to everybody listening to us around the world, especially those people out there in the military. Shout out to those people keeping us safe from people like ISIS and sometimes our own government. But
again, his opinions are always entertaining, to say the least.
Somebody's hit me with a text message. My bad. Let me put that on silent. I need to focus on what I'm doing.
Well, let's get into it because we got a lot to focus on tonight. I mean, number one, a subject that's very, very near and dear to your heart because I know how much you love college football, and now we have a playoff system, of course, the second year of that, and we finally get the rankings after a wild weekend of college football, you know, from Ohio State losing to what happened with TCU and Oklahoma to even Oklahoma State and Baylor, you know, right here in our backyard. So we got a lot to talk about in terms of college football, but let's start with the topic at hand, which are the rankings. The top four teams have changed for the college football playoff. You've got number one, Clemson. No change there. You got number two, Alabama.
Boo.
No change there. And then, of course, number three, moving up 4 places are the Oklahoma Sooners. And then moving up 1 place to get that 4th spot are the Iowa Hawkeyes. So,
go Hawkeyes.
Let me get your initial reaction because you're just not learning about these rankings, these top 4 teams. So from your perspective, Mr. Tailgate State.
Let's do it.
How do you see these top 4?
Right now, as these top 4 stand, I think those are 3 teams that I'm going to say are proven good teams. Number one, Clemson. They're running through their division. They're running through their conference, the ACC. It's not a humongous, powerful football conference, but they've got some teams there this year. Way it's shaping up for their championship game, looks like they're going to be facing off against North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Those Tar Heels are looking to let everybody know that they're real this year.
Yeah, they are the only undefeated team left in college football. Well, I take that back.
They're 10-1.
Outside of Iowa, they're left in college football in the top 4 at least.
It's true. It's true. But North Carolina's got a chip on their shoulder. They're 10-1. They're playing pretty good football. Clemson's played some pretty decent teams. I'm not saying North Carolina is the powerhouse that's going to knock Clemson out.
Right.
But championship week is championship week. People are wanting to win. And it might not drop you down to number 1, but it might move Clemson to a number 4 spot. But
let me ask you this, though. With Clemson being number 1, now they have some impressive wins on their schedule already, but there are no other ACC teams in the top 10. You know, if you look at some of the other conferences, they've got, you know, more than one team in the top 10. You know, I'm talking about like the Big Ten, for instance. But yet there's no other ACC teams. They've kind of ran away with that, you know, that particular conference, and they're number 1. So are they really a number 1?
I'm going to say they are number 1. I've seen them play back from some really tough games. So I'm going to say they are number 1. They're deserving of it. As you see, they are undefeated, just like Iowa is, but everybody's not really big on Iowa's schedule. They're not really feeling like Iowa played a lot of strong teams.
Iowa's going to have the Big Ten championship coming up, you know, which they'll play probably Michigan State. So I think if they win that game, they stay in the top 4.
They do. I think Iowa is a deserving top 4 team. Mm-hmm. Of course, Oklahoma, they've played their way through some tough games. They went to Waco in the rain, showed up, showed out. after that Texas loss, they've come through and they just kept coming. They've just kept rolling. I'm not a big Sooner fan because I'm a Texan, but shout outs to my homeboy D-Ron and his Oklahoma Sooners up there because they're rolling. I would rather see the Sooners in the top 4 than the number 2 team that everybody has be ranked. And we all know this team that Omie D cannot stand because I really just think that people they're just all over Alabama because it's like, oh, it's Alabama. Oh, look, it's behind door number 2. It's Alabama. Oh, Nick Saban. Oh, Alabama. Like, Alabama's loaded with talent. But here's one thing I have to say. Everybody's going, the SEC is such a tough division. Mm-hmm. You just have to beat up on everybody to get through it. When was the last time Alabama went to a bowl game and just annihilated a team?
Well, they've had some trouble. Of course, they lost the championship game last year. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the SEC. Here's an interesting fact for those that are just now looking at the rankings. There are only 3 SEC teams in the top 25.
And if I'm not mistaken,
and it's supposed to be the best conference, though, right?
And if I'm not mistaken, last year their bowl game win percentage was below 40%.
Yes.
I think they only out of all the bowl games the SEC got, I think they only won like 2. And I don't think it was like LSU won theirs, and I think it was like somebody like who else is in the SEC? Cedar Valley? I don't know, but it wasn't Alabama. They didn't win theirs.
I don't think Cedar Valley's in the SEC.
Well, they could be. They could be. My point about the SEC is we see Alabama and Ole Miss beat each other up all season long.
And they play each other
next week. Play each other all season long. Mm-hmm. So then Alabama gets to these teams like Oregon's. They get to teams from different conferences like who is it they play? They played somebody last year. But then they played Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. Mm-hmm. Everybody just, SEC, and then they lose all these bowl games. It's like, come on, man. Like, stop being so impressed with the SEC because their big Southern influence and this big historical campus and all this glam and stuff. Yes, they're loaded. Yes, they have a good run game.
Well, that's why they're famous, though, because they're loaded with talent. They always have the top recruiting class. Alabama, Nick Saban, say what you will about the Saban. But he's a great recruiter.
He is.
And he's always in it.
He's always in it, but he's not winning. He's won that championship.
He's not winning.
And then after Oklahoma beat him in the Sugar Bowl, they haven't been right. Yep. Then they were getting close. Then Auburn returned that 102-yard field goal miss, and they always sputter. What I say, Alabama from that point on was always going to lose 2 games. So if the number 2 game happens to be themselves in the playoffs or this championship, because they're going to have to face off against Florida. And Florida's a team that they might not be as loaded as Alabama, but I say there's always those setup games. It's a championship. People are going to play hard for a championship, and there's no way you can slow somebody down. So Alabama's not the kind of team that you go in and you force to make mistakes.
Right.
You let them make mistakes, and then you play with them.
Well, so, I'm looking at also, too, kind of how this thing is shaping up. And let's be honest here. The college football playoff system is something that we've all asked for a long time, right?
True that.
But it is heavily influenced by money and advertising. Okay, that's a huge driver. Okay, so look at the drama that they've set up. You've got these 4 teams: Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa. Correct?
Yeah.
But all of those teams have very tough games coming up. And Iowa's toughest game, of course, would be the Big Ten championship, and they play the fifth ranked team, Michigan State.
Yep.
They're ranked number 5. So you got a 4-5 plan for a possible entry into the playoff. Then you've got Baylor, who's going to be taking on TCU, who had a tough loss against Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. But that shapes up. And hats off to the Big 12 because I think the Big 12 did everything they could to not get shut out of being in the top 4 again, just like they were last year, by putting all their big games at the end of the schedule.
Yep.
So those teams can really – because it doesn't make any sense. The games in November mean more than the games in, September, right?
September, October, early October.
Yeah, and November means everything. So you put all the big teams playing each other in November. You create that massive kind of whoever comes out of this tournament, if you will, Big 12 playoff, if you will. Whoever comes out of that is going to be represented in the top 4. And Oklahoma, they got Oklahoma State next week. And Oklahoma State wouldn't like nothing else after dropping 5 spots.
Yep.
They dropped 5 spots after losing 1 game.
To Baylor. But here's the thing about that game, what makes them drop so many spots. They lost to a 3rd-string quarterback. Okay? And then not only that, but then they also lost by, I believe, 2 touchdowns. And they didn't look too impressive on the defensive side of the ball last week against Iowa State. They didn't look too impressive either. So that's 2 weeks back to back that you have failed to impress people with your defense. And not only that, but you dropped the game. So now you got to go into the battle at Bedlam between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And you have to win this game, Oklahoma State.
You have to win.
Oklahoma State is ranked, what was that we said? They're ranked
11th right now. They dropped 5 spots.
Honestly,
for 1 win, 1 loss.
Honestly, if they beat Oklahoma, it's not going to put them in the top 4. The best that they probably get.
So they can't move into the top 4 even though Oklahoma is the 4th ranked.
If they beat Oklahoma,
3rd ranked team.
If they beat Oklahoma, Clemson wins their championship. Iowa wins theirs. Alabama wins theirs.
Notre Dame
is going to have to go up into the top 4.
They lost 2 spots and they won the game. Of course, it was an ugly game, but they won.
Game, but now it's the problem of not having a conference championship. But it's the benefit of Notre Dame not being in conference. So now they get the advantage to just sit and let these dudes duke it out and possibly knock themselves out. Because Oklahoma loses, hey, they're going to like 6.
Okay, so what about Baylor? Saying in the Big 12, they play TCU. TCU right now is ranked
15th.
Okay, they're ranked 19th. I'm sorry. They're ranked 19th.
So they'd have to beat TCU by 300 points to get in the top 4.
So they don't have a chance either.
Baylor would have to beat TCU. Baylor would have to beat TCU 72-10. Alabama would have to lose the SEC championship to Florida.
All that is going to have for them to get in?
Michigan State would have to lose. And then Oklahoma would have to lose the Battle of Bedlam. Wow. So Oklahoma would have to lose. Michigan State would have to lose. So Iowa could jump up. Alabama would have to lose so they could leave. And then Notre Dame can move up and Baylor can move up.
Wow.
To 3 and 4.
That's what's going to happen for Baylor and Notre Dame to move up?
That's what's going to happen for Baylor to move up.
That's a lot.
If Oklahoma loses and Baylor wins.
If Oklahoma loses, there is no Big 12 team in the top 4.
None.
I mean, they're out of there.
If Iowa loses to the Big 10 championship, they're out of there. And like we said, Michigan State is in. Okay? Clemson's going to be in if they beat North Carolina. But let's say Clemson loses to North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's going to shake the whole thing up. And North Carolina is a 10-1 team. You can never count a 10-1 team out in the championship because it's the championship.
That's right.
Kids play hard in championship.
Good point.
And North Carolina is not a football school. So they got a lot to prove with this program going 10-1 because nobody's taking them seriously as a football program. So, hey, I'm looking for this to be this shaping up in the championship.
Well, you know what?
To be that thing, and Alabama going to lose.
Everyone out there that's right now talking about, they need to expand the playoffs, needs to go to 16 teams or 8 teams or whatever you think.
8.
Watch what's happening in the month of November. These are the playoffs.
It technically
These are the playoffs. These are the playoffs leading to the playoffs.
Here's the problem with the playoff system that I have with college. Here's the problem what I have with scheduling in college football. This goes right back to why we all have to look at Alabama being number 2. College football needs to start crossing conferences at least 4 games per season.
Again, you have to remember, money, follow the money to tell you what you need to know.
Well, let's think about this.
There's money in being undefeated going into the last week of the season. You can't do that. The only real control you can have over that outside of being better or recruiting better than the teams in your conference is to schedule the cupcake teams. It's why Alabama schedules Charleston Southern to play. Or Texas A&M always plays Lamar, for instance. It's why they do that. Or no, Texas plays Texas.
Well,
that's part of college football too.
But that's the part of college football that I think with the previous bowl situation going to death, and with the now playoff system going to death, and they're going to change that because this is the gauge for how much money they can make. You think about if you put a team like Ohio State, technically right now, or if we take the top 8, Baylor at number 7. Baylor plays their way through 3 rounds of bowl games to the championship. How much money did Baylor just make?
Yeah, Baylor made a lot of money, but really the TV made a lot of money too.
They did too.
That's who's
but
really,
think about a school like North Carolina that gets in because they win their championship and they go to number 7. And they win the championship and they fight their way through. Now North Carolina has played through 3 bowl games, has tons of money, and can recruit way better.
Oh, but wait. Omie, the kids got to go to school, man. They got to go to class. They got to get an education.
Did you go to college?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
I'm just telling you what they say, you know?
The cheerleaders can teach the kids why they going to the bowl game.
I'm just telling you what they say.
But you know what? There's online schools now. So kids go to school online. They can get all their schoolwork online. Right now, this is about who is the most important person when this comes down to college football playoffs. Me. I want to be happy when this thing is all over with. Well, so it's the fan. Yep. You know,
with that framework and that thinking, then I see your point.
And then you can pay the kids more money.
Yeah.
They got a little stipend this year. You know, they're a little happy. A little chump change.
Well, before we end this segment, you know, I got to get your tailgate state, Mr. Tailgate State, as you've known, across the airwaves. I got to get your prediction on who is going to be in the top 4 when we do this show next week. Who's going to stay in there? Who's going to get in based on the games that are coming up? Right. Who's going to be in the top 4?
So, Iowa's playing this week. They're playing Nebraska. I think they'll stay in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's playing South Carolina. Who's the coach of South Carolina? Nobody knows. So Clemson will stay as number 1. Who is Alabama?
Well, you just said North Carolina 10-1.
Yeah, but this is
tough team, right?
This is but you said this week.
Yeah, who's going to be? Yeah,
Clemson is still playing this week.
Okay.
Alabama, I don't see them on there, so they must be playing Cedar Valley this week because they never seem to play anybody.
No, they play Auburn this week.
They playing Auburn this week?
Yeah.
Why is this not on the ESPN? Well, they're gonna lose that game. They're gonna lose. they are. Wait a minute. The Iron Bowl. What am I thinking? Where's my alcohol? That's why I missed this. Hold on. Let me take a sip.
There you go.
The Iron Bowl, my favorite game of the year. The battle for Alabama.
Right.
Who's going to win that game? Auburn. Why? Because Auburn seems to have Alabama's number when it comes to the Iron Bowl.
Even though Auburn's had a down year, but this will be their.
They just want to wreck. It's like Texas OU.
Right.
Texas didn't care anything about going to the playoffs. They knew they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it if they had to ride on the back of another Big 12 team. But Auburn would love to ruin Alabama's chances right here with another fluke situation. So I'm going to say this is going to be Alabama's second loss. If not, then they'll lose the playoffs.
So you got Clemson in next year. You've got Iowa in next year. I mean, next week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to stay in.
They're gonna beat Oklahoma State.
They're gonna beat Oklahoma State. They're gonna beat Oklahoma State.
So who moves in? Who gets that 4th spot?
Who gets the 4th spot? We're gonna say Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay.
We're gonna say Notre Dame.
So you've got Clemson.
Because that's gonna be a money move right there. You got more alumni with money.
Yeah, if you think of money,
you put Notre Dame in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some people paying to go watch some tickets.
So you've got Notre Dame, Clemson, Iowa, and Oklahoma.
Yeah. Clemson number 1, Oklahoma number 2, Iowa number 3, Notre Dame number 4 at 10-1.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. I guess the same thing. You know?
Bake.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll jump into some NFL talk. The Cowboys got a big game. Tony Romo came back, and Greg Hardy faces his former team on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no police.
Welcome back, everyone, to Omie D and Fish. We are back, and again, these views are brought to you by the south side of the Trinity River. I am your host, Rodney Fisher, and joined by the entertaining, always opinionated Omie D.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. What's going on, man? NFL time?
NFL time, man. Let's jump right into it with our local Dallas Cowboys. A lot to talk about there because the Savior is back, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Romo comes back, and all of a sudden, the 7-game win streak is completely over as they beat the Miami Dolphins. Romo, that game, was 18 for 28, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 picks as well. But again, that's Tony Romo. But they did get the win, and now they're 3-7. And believe it or not, a chance to win the NFC East, getting to the playoffs, and who knows from there. But Omie D, I need you to kind of talk to me a little bit about this. As a Cowboy fan myself, you know, it's hard to not always think about winning the big game or getting to the playoffs. But I said to myself weeks ago, this team was not good. I saw them in the midst of a 5-game losing streak, 6-game, 7-game. You lose to Tampa Bay and a rookie quarterback.
Big shout outs to Jameis.
Big shout outs to Jameis on my fantasy team, by the way. 5 touchdowns last week.
He went Cam Newton last week.
He did. So, but I said to myself, this is not a good team. How can one player be that big of a swing in terms of losing 7 games and being undefeated? I mean, he's 3-0 as a starter this season. Without him, they're 0-7. So I got to just kind of talk to you about this because how good are they really?
They are as good as their weakest quarterback link. And I'm going to say that's with any NFL team. You are only as good as your quarterback. If your quarterback is good and your backup quarterback is good, let's look at what happened you can look at a lot of things. Let's look at what happened in the Baylor game. Baylor's lost their starting quarterback.
Right.
Then they got their second string quarterback hurt. They won. Third string quarterback comes in. He won. Let's see. Remember the Titans. Rev got hurt. Sunshine comes in. They win. Like, you're as good as your backup quarterback. What Dallas fans have to realize, and what Jerry Jones, and I hope that whole upper management got a blast from Christmas or seasons past when we had no quarterback.
Yeah.
And we were finishing 8-8, 5 and whatever. And like, the whole point of watching Cowboys
you're talking
on
about
Sunday,
the whole Quincy Carter.
Yeah, the dark ages. The dark ages when nobody wanted to. Everybody was a Cowboys fan, and people remember stick with them. Oh God! Yeah. And then finally Tony Romo comes in, and then Tony Romo had some rough years because they had no offensive line. But now you've built a team, you built an offensive line, you built a wide receiving core. You're starting to build some form of running back situation, and then Tony Romo goes down, and you're going, well, our best backup is Brandon Weeden.
Oh, he was terrible.
He was terrible. Brandon Weeden threw
terrible.
He threw for like negative 22 yards the whole time he was in. Like, he didn't throw. I think he probably completed 3 passes.
And Castle wasn't that good either.
Castle would have. I think Castle had a chance of being better if they'd have started him one more game before they did in New York. But he just had to get rolling. But he was a better backup option than Brandon Weeden. Yeah. If we'd have had Castle 6 games or 5 games ahead, we might have won 3
played the whole 7 games.
Yeah, we probably would have won 3 of those 7, and wouldn't have been looking as bad as we probably would have beat all of our division rivals.
So you're saying that this team is really that good, but without a quarterback, for any team in the NFL, you're just going to be that bad.
Let me ask you a question.
Because the Steelers were out Ben Roethlisberger for 4 games. They went 2-2.
Yeah, but you had Michael Vick playing. So Michael Vick adds an element to...
Michael Vick is better than Brandon Weeden, of course.
Oh, complete. Because here's the thing.
Better than Mike Castle, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Even though Michael Vick is at the age he is, Michael Vick is still a threat throwing the ball and running the ball.
You have the game plan for both.
You got a game plan for both. Sure. You got Brandon Weeden. What do you got a game plan for? Him falling down.
Pretty much.
And them just running the ball. So it's like, stop the run. Brandon Weeden is not going to throw the ball. So you have that situation. If the Cowboys would have had Matt Castle, like I said, they would have finished up a little bit better. But it's your best option. So the Cowboys need to focus on a couple things right now. Either start developing Jamil Showers, that awesome number 7 they have on their practice squad to be their new quarterback talent, or
But he didn't even get a look though.
Man, they didn't give
no Romo,
well,
no
we
nothing.
know Quincy Carter made it where he wasn't gonna get a look. But you know what, Jerry, you're gonna have to start looking elsewhere, because you're not gonna get many people with the skill set that Tony Romo has. Tony Romo has a Brett Favre skill set. Let's look at what we saw on Sunday. That flicker pass with the left hand, get it out there.
Right.
Come on, Brandon Whedon, Matt Castle, could not have made that play. That would have not gone on. Being elusive, motivating your team. Come on, let's win the whole damn thing. Like, come on, man. There's some energy that when that player walks on the field with your team, that you feel it. People don't want to give it the thing, but if you believe in, home field advantage, then you have to believe in the energy that someone feeling more confident, because, you probably were confident the first time Brandon Whedon stepped in the huddle. Yeah. And then after the third pass, you probably was like, oh crap, where's Tony Romo?
Well, you bring up a good point, and I think I'm leaning towards your way, because, how perfect of a storm was it? I mean, you had Romo sending out the tweet talking about, hey, let's win the whole damn thing. They said they had a meeting, and Romo gave this big speech before the game about how they can go in, they can win it, and then they win the game.
Yeah, they beat the Dolphins.
And then they beat the Dolphins, right? And then,
Wild Thing. Rick Wild Thing Vaughn came back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you beat the Dolphins. That was a good warm-up. But now you're going to face a dude next week, 10-0.
Yeah.
A 10-0 team with a pretty good defense and a offensive arsenal without their number one star wide receiver right now. They got a tight end that's playing like Gronkowski for Cam Newton.
Well, let me ask you about this 10-0 team, this Carolina Panthers team, and Cam Newton especially.
My guy.
Having an MVP year, and yet they're putting up this debate about him versus Tom Brady. And,
he's better than Tom Brady.
I'm just saying, Cam has done a lot with a lot less, I would say.
Cam Newton has done way more than Tom Brady has done with what he has. Like, it's
although Brady's missing some players now too.
They're finally starting to get some of those cheaters that do those illegal blocks downfield out of the game. So, you know what? I can't really be on the Patriots side, because whether you cheated or not, we can't really prove it, but now it's in my mind that you possibly cheated. So I can't really respect you 100% because you might have cheated.
Okay.
So Cam Newton, though, if Cam is given a full arsenal, which I think Carolina is slowly working to put themselves together, a team, I'm looking for the NFC Championship game. I already made a call that the Panthers are going to be in there, and it's either going to be the Panthers versus the Cowboys, or the Cardinals versus the Panthers, or the Cardinals versus the Cowboys.
So you really, so what chance do you give the Cowboys to knock off a undefeated team on Thanksgiving Day?
I don't. Cowboys won't win this game.
Do you know they're favored right now to win the game?
Oh, I completely believe they're favored because of the whole momentum of Tony Romo. But see, there's one thing that I believe in, and that's Cam Newton. And Cam wants to win. And Cam is, I've watched the press conferences. I've watched the post-game conferences. And it seems like this team is balanced. Cam's like, I'm not worried about all that. We're just trying to make sure we focused on getting this done.
Right.
The Cowboys got a lot of drama around them still that has to unfold. There's so much pressure on them right now to win this game. And let's be honest about this whole situation. This game is not that important right now.
Yes, it is.
Why?
It is very important.
Why? Is it a division game?
For you mean for Dallas?
Yeah.
Because they can't lose.
And if they lose, what happens?
Well, if they lose, they're 3-8.
And then they still got to go beat Washington twice. And then a couple things happen.
Yeah, but
and they win the division.
You can't keep losing NFC games.
So what?
I mean, you put yourself under a lot of pressure to win out. If you lose it, you need to win out. You need to take control of your own destiny, because 9-7. I have it right here.
Okay.
9-7, you can win this division. You don't have to get help from someone else.
What I need you to do is call off all the games they have left, and I will tell you the ones that they need to win to make the playoffs.
Well, they need to win all of them, but here we go.
No. I'm going to help you out.
We got Carolina Thursday.
They don't need to win that one.
You got the Redskins.
They got to win that one.
Packers.
They don't need to win that one.
Jets.
They don't need to win that
Bills.
one. They don't need to win that one.
Redskins.
They need to win that one.
No.
Yeah.
If they just win the games that you say they have to win.
Yeah, they got to win.
They're only going to be 5-9.
And somebody from the AFC South is going to make it in.
5-11.
Somebody from the AFC South is going to make it in at probably 4-12 this year because they're going to be.
No.
Man, look at the AFC South, man. There's some weak divisions here.
It could be, but you would doubt it though.
But the thing is, if you win your division, you're in.
Right, but I think the Cowboys have to. I mean, they're 2 games behind the Giants.
2 games behind the Giants.
They're 2 games behind the Giants in the division.
So that means they need to win.
They need to win out.
They need to win the Redskins.
They need to win out.
And what we need to be looking at is when are the Giants playing the Eagles and the Redskins, and when can the Giants drop 2 games? Because if the Cowboys win against the Redskins twice, the Giants lose 2 games. That leaves us tied for first, and we have to figure out who has the tiebreaker.
I think we need to win, for me to feel, and for this team to feel confident that they can really, because let's face it, what really matters is if the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl and win. That's what really matters.
Okay.
For every team, okay? That's what really, really matters. Not the regular season, not what rounds you lose in the playoffs. What really matters is winning the trophy at the end.
So the
Cowboys, and for this team to have the confidence they need to go up against these other teams and go on the road, because they'll be on the road, to go on the road and win these games, they need to win out. They need to go 9-7. They cannot lose any games. None. They need to put their own destiny in their own hands. We don't need to be sitting around in the last week of the season wondering, man, is the Giants going to lose or the Eagles going to lose?
But we still have to figure out if the Giants are going to lose.
Can we get in?
Now.
We need to win out.
We still have to figure out.
If we win out, we've done everything we could to get to the playoffs. If we win out. So we've done everything.
So we went out. We win all the games out, right? And then New York wins all of their games out.
Okay.
Right? Let me see. I'm looking at the standings.
That's not going to happen.
How do we know that's not going to happen?
That's not going to happen.
How do you think New York? I'm going to get New York schedule right now.
Even if New York does win out.
I'm getting New York schedule right now.
You as a team right now can't do any better for yourself than to win out all you can.
All right. So
that's the best you could do.
Here's what you got going. Okay. So if New York loses to Washington on the 29th, that takes New York down 1 game.
Yes.
Okay. So then we play Washington that next week. Mm-hmm. So if we beat Washington, that leaves us 1 game behind. Then the Giants still have to play the Jets, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Eagles. So basically now,
they got to lose both division games.
They've got to lose against the Eagles and the Redskins.
NFC games. They got to lose against Carolina.
So now you're trying to make sure the Cowboys at least get a wild card spot.
I'm making sure that the only way they can get in.
So you're playing for the wild card spot or the championship, the division.
That's the only way they can get in. They have to win the division to get in.
They can get wild card.
There will be no wild card from the NFC East.
You don't think so?
No.
If they win the division?
Nope.
They got to win the division.
There will not be a wild card for the NFC East.
I don't blame you, but I believe you. But like you said, right now.
They have to win out. They need to win every game. If you feel like I feel, I'm going to take a poll. Live on the air, take a poll. Send us some on Twitter, at NTX Game on Twitter. Do the Cowboys need to win out, or can they do like Omie says and just win 2 games?
Heck.
And get the playoffs?
Heck, they could possibly just win 2 games because the Giants only have 2 more games, division games themselves.
Okay. We're going to find out.
If the Giants win out, because they still got to play the Jets, the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Vikings. The Giants went out. We went out. Right? Where does that leave us?
Giants in there.
And where are we at? Wild card team.
Well, it's possible.
There we go. That's like I said.
It's possible.
There we go. Omie D is right. But
at NTS Game, let me know what you think live on air. Let's get a public opinion, if you will, about these Cowboys and what needs to happen. You know, we talk about the game coming up on Thursday. Can't wait for that. It's also going to be a reuniting of one Greg Hardy and the Carolina Panthers.
Reunited.
And I read a story today that some of the Panthers actually still support Greg Hardy.
Wow. He didn't do that wrong.
I'm just saying they're gonna make a story out of this.
So they're coming
in and get ready, ladies and gentlemen, to be sitting full of turkey, full of dressing in front of the couch, watching this game, and get ready for all of the bad press about Greg Hardy that you can imagine.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be pictures of the girl.
That's what I don't want.
You know what?
Why ruin this tradition, ruin my meal with everything bad that this man has done? Because that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna talk about it next week.
Or everything bad that they want to say he's done, but has not been convicted.
Or in the NFL or in the world, for instance.
Yeah, because that's media. That's what they make money off of. People like to have a bad guy. But we're not bad media. We're cool media.
Okay.
You know, we don't want to sit here and harp on the Greg Hardy situation. Look, people make mistakes. That young lady made a mistake by throwing stuff at people and being abusive against someone and cursing at him on the phone while the cops were there.
Right.
You know, so it happens. But you know what? That means Greg Hardy has changed. He might not be down with beating women anymore if he beat the woman in the first place. Yeah. But he's just trying to do his job. How many guys out there, I'm not saying that this is just happened, but you've hit your wife or a significant other. Did they fire you from your job? Did they fire you from your job? That's all I need to know.
I just want to clarify.
I'm not condoning the violence. I'm just saying. It's some guys out there that their butts got a little tight, like, Omie D's talking about me. And the wife was over there like, he's talking about you. He's talking about you. But you went there, you're still a dentist right now.
Let me just say.
You work at Bank of America?
Let me just say, I have never hit my wife.
I've never hit anybody's wife.
So let me just clarify that right now.
I don't condone.
So all those guys that listen to us right now thinking like, man, I'm glad Rodney said that. Because I ain't hit my wife either. Shout out to y'all.
I didn't say y'all.
I got your back.
I just said it's a couple guys out there that's listening that's done hit their wife and they didn't lose their job. They didn't have to go through all of this the next day behind it. They just had a police report and maybe set a day out.
You know that Greg Hardy is going to be hosting a party that night.
Where?
He's hosting a party that night. We got
his homies coming to town.
Got details coming up on that, but he's hosting his own party that Thursday night. Now, let me ask you this. You know, we're making light of a very serious situation. But just imagine a group of ladies say, you know what? Let's go party with Greg Hardy tonight.
Here's the thing.
Let's go to the Greg Hardy party. Can you see a group of women like?
Hell yeah. It's a couple ladies. Listen to us right now. Just jumped up and was like, girl, Greg Hardy having a party this weekend. Like, we going to the party.
You know what? We should go to the party, sit outside, and interview the girls that go in.
They gonna be like, hey, what you come to the party for? Girl, we want to come here and see Greg Hardy. Like, women don't care. Like, there is a woman, look, Joey Buttafuoco is married. Okay? Like, there's a woman that is in love with Charles Manson.
True.
Okay? I'm not saying
there's somebody for everybody.
There are some people who just like people who done some crazy stuff like that.
There's somebody for everybody. It's like
there's some, I'm not saying I condone this, but there are some women that like a physical relationship like that.
On that note, Omie D Fish, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll talk a little NBA. We're gonna talk a little Dallas Mavericks who are playing right now. But again, they're doing pretty well. And JaVale McGee is here, so we'll talk about that coming up next, live on Omie D and Fish.
Seriously, ladies, I was in an abusive relationship. Get some help. It's real dangerous.
Welcome everybody back to Omie D and Fish. We are live coming to you guys every Tuesday night, weekly basis. Having a good laugh in the studio, having a good time. Before we get into the Mavs talk, we got to talk a little bit about some other goings on here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and that's the high school football playoff action. Now, me and you were able to do a live game heard on ntxgame.com. There was DeSoto versus Allen. DeSoto loses 41-40, and you had some very strong opinions about that game.
It was a rough night.
So I just want to see, because I got a lot of email, Twitter reaction to you really speaking from the heart and having a very big and very emotional opinion about the game and about one head coach of the game. So I want to kind of see, okay, well, now that we've had some days to decompress and think about it and take a, relax. Yeah, right. How do you feel now about that 41-40 loss for DeSoto?
I'm still rather emotional about that loss. I mean, as a professional member of the media or journalist or whatever, broadcaster, I did let my feelings of my alma mater.
You did. Yeah, you did.
Leak out. But you know what?
And I wish I would have recorded because we should have played it for the show.
Season's over.
Man.
So, I thought you would have had it for tonight.
Yeah, I should have had it.
You probably, you'll cut it out and put it, just put it up on the website like one of them little clips. Just hear Omie D go off.
Right.
But, I kind of let some things hang out. And, you know what? I am human. I am just like you guys out there listening.
Yes, you are human.
I make mistakes, and sometimes I like to let my emotions be seen by those that are listening, because I don't want everybody to think that I'm just this celebrity guy that has this big house on top of this hill somewhere in Cedar Hill and overlooking the cliffs and Joe Pool Lake and stuff with the Rolls Royce in the back.
Guy.
I'm just a normal guy. I just got a big house in Cedar Hill. But it's not on the cliff. It's just on top of a hill. But I do got a road. No, I ain't got a Rolls Royce. I got a Chevy Cruze, though. But I'm just a normal guy. And it was just a pure emotion thing. Now, there was some bad play calling on that last drive. DeSoto had a chance to get themselves back into field goal position, although I know not how they might have got that field goal through there. The kicker, Varick Dyer, did a great job that game, my MVP of the game. But bad play calling. Second down, there was the the quarterback scramble to the right. A lot
of those.
Yeah, that was terrible. And then third down, we had the wide receiver screen in the backfield when you're 3rd and 15. And then fourth down, you're set up in, I believe that was the pistol formation.
Right.
You need to get 40 yards down the field for a touchdown, and you only have 3 receivers on the field.
Yeah, then go 5 wide like they had before.
When you were actually moving the ball down the field on that previous drive where you almost tied the game up. So there were a lot of suspicious play callings throughout the season for DeSoto. My biggest issue with the coaching is, why are you going to try to get a passing offense started in the playoffs at the very end of the season? You didn't try to run a passing offense like this the entire season.
Yeah, keep in mind they're using their strengths, which really is, Tristan Wallace.
Well, let's talk about Tristan Wallace.
Of course, is running the ball,
Well, Tristan Wallace is a tall guy. He's like 6'3", 220, 230. He's a pretty tall guy for a quarterback. Guy has a great arm. Pretty accurate. Can throw drop a ball in the web. Throw it pretty far. Tristan Wallace, in the 5 wide or the 4 wide where he can get a chance to back up and actually read and do some check downs for receivers, can actually make throws. You're only giving this guy 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and then you're snapping the ball and you're wanting him to make a throw, but these guys have plenty of guys in the backfield to cover these guys and double cover these guys, and still I don't understand how any coach up in that box did not recognize the same thing that I saw for 2 quarters, the guy on the opposite side of the field of the pistol formation, single covered.
Right.
They had, even in the third quarter, they were running a single safety high. They had completely shaded the single safety over to the side of the 2 wide receivers, so they were double covering every formation that they tried to run. So there was no point in passing. And then when Tristan would run towards where they were trying to run the wide receivers off, he was covered.
Yeah.
So it was bad play calling, man. It was DeSoto's coaches cost them that game. There wasn't the players. It wasn't the field goal kicker. It wasn't Tristan Wallace. It was coaches. Whatever coaches were in that booth and whatever coaches were on the sideline, offensive coordinator or whatever, they cost them themselves that game.
Let me ask you this question, though. We saw this team throughout the entire season, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what you saw, were you not impressed with the way they played in that game? I mean, just take into account the entire season that they had, finishing, 6-4. That entire season, those losses that we saw, the mistakes we saw, and then to go against a team that was on a 54-game win streak that you've lost to so many times in the playoffs, 3 times to be exact, 3 in a row, and yet you come within 1 point, really tie the game. You really tied the game up.
Yeah, you could have won in overtime.
To come that far, do you give the coaching staff any credit for kind of getting them playing their best ball at the right time?
No, because from what I saw in those first 2 quarters and half of that third quarter, what kept DeSoto in that game was what I told you. And if you listen to the broadcast, I said periodically throughout that it was football god luck. It was interceptions. It was turnovers. It was punt returns. It was things that Allen was doing to beat themselves that was leaving DeSoto in that game. Because I'm not saying DeSoto was overmatched. It was an evenly matched team, but the coaching was overmatched. The Allen coaches, I'm going to say, were better coaches, but the players were making mistakes that was causing them not to basically lead probably 63-41 at that point, winning that game. But DeSoto's coaches weren't able to capitalize on a lot of those mistakes and put points on the board. So, I'm going to say it all falls back on coaching, man. It was just a lot of luck. If the ball had bounced a couple ways on those fumbles, if he hadn't got that interception, that 360 turnaround interception, man, that game would have been totally different.
Well, I give them a little more credit because with 9 minutes left to go, they were down by 2 scores, by 14 points. With 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and they battled back and they came back and they had the ball to end the game. I mean, it was in their hands to end the game. And they had a chance to win it, but again, I don't agree with the play calling for that series because
in the series before that, we didn't agree with that. There was a couple times in the booth, Royce was looking at us like, what are they trying to do?
True.
Are you're not passing the ball down the field? You weren't trying to win the game. And it was just the simple fact of the defense in the fourth quarter really stood up.
Yeah.
Big shout outs to the DeSoto defense who kept them in that game the whole time, man.
Right.
But you can't expect a passing offense that's based on timing patterns and routes to all come together. These guys all come together and make it work. If you're not even, dude, how many wide receivers did we see last season with DeSoto? 5, maybe 6.
Quite a few.
All of those guys didn't graduate.
Quite a few.
They were there.
Yeah.
They just didn't get it. They got in running plays in situations.
Right.
And it was totally, to me, it was beyond my nature to understand this whole entire season. And that's why I'm not surprised that this happened, that they were not utilizing Tristan in the passing game to open up stuff in the running game. DeSoto was a multi-dimensional team, and they just became one-dimensional this year.
Well, got a chance to really get a good look at Allen. The Allen Eagles, of course, 55-0. That's their win streak currently, which is the second longest active win streak in the country and the second longest in the state history as well. And they've got a game coming up. I'm going to say a very beatable Allen team, which I thought. They've got a game coming up against Arlington Martin, which is a big game. Arlington Martin, of course, being a team that DeSoto played. We know how good they are. I look for Martin really to pull off an upset.
I'm going to take Martin with the upset here. I believe DeSoto played Martin first game of the year, and DeSoto lost to Martin. And Martin they've played through some pretty tough games the last couple with the kickoff run back, walk-off kickoff run back, and then last week facing off against that team from Amarillo and defeating them. So Martin's played some pretty tough teams, but those guys have a great defense. And depending on which quarterback comes in for Allen, and I'm pretty sure that everybody from Arlington Martin was scouting this game that DeSoto played against Allen. Allen might have their hands full.
Yeah, I think they do have their hands full. Eric Walker, their quarterback for Martin, is a great quarterback. And they got, to me, I think Martin's going to pull off the upset.
Yeah, the defensive backs from Allen aren't as impressive as they were the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
And DeSoto roasted those guys the previous season. So, like I said, I don't understand why they didn't go out and play more, air it out versus those guys. But hey, who am I to say? I'm not a high school football coach.
Well, you also have the Terrell team taking on Lancaster. Lancaster's 9-3, but a good Lancaster team. I'm going to pull for them to get the win there as well, too. And really, the only other big game we probably would want to weigh in on, Omie, would have to be North Mesquite taking on Austin Westlake. That's in Waco.
Oh, that's a powerhouse, Austin Westlake. They've been doing things down there for a little while, but North Mesquite, surprisingly, didn't expect them to do much this season, and they fought back.
Yeah, they're 10-2.
A couple of playoff games here too. So I'm gonna roll Austin Westlake on this one.
Well, we got more to talk about. We're going to be doing the state championship game right here live on ntxgame.com. So make sure you tune in for that. Get a subscription. You're going to enjoy a lot of the programming we have. We'll take another quick break. Come back. We'll talk NBA. Finish off our show. A little Dallas Mavs talks as well, too. Welcome to Omie D and Fish. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Omie D and Fish. Make sure you check us out online at ntxgame.com. Go to the website, become a subscriber, get all the premium content that you want, including live broadcasts and live games. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Rodney R. Fisher or at ntxgame. And, of course, make sure you follow Omie D at Omie D Online as well, too. So, boom. Let's jump right into it. Dallas Mavericks, talk a little bit about them. Omie D, this past weekend I took a little road trip. I went down to Oklahoma City this past Sunday to watch the Mavs and the Thunder play.
Nice.
Really get a chance to kind of see this Thunder team for the first time and watch Billy Donovan coach and talk a little bit to Durant about his health. He did make his debut. Of course, the next game wasn't available for the Mavs, but what impressed me about the Mavs the most, about their game the most, a game they should have won, by the way, was we saw JaVale McGee. Mm-hmm. Mr. Shaqtin' the Fool, right? He's always on Shaqtin' the Fool, making some mistake. And you know how they say when a kid's really big or really tall and he plays basketball because of his height, but then can't dribble, can't really have coordination. And we always say, he's got to grow into his body. He's got to figure out how to move that 7-foot frame, right?
Yeah.
What I saw from JaVale McGee looked like a kid that had grew into his body. I mean, the guy was playing offense well, defense well, moving around, had a little hook shot. And, Cuban said once they get healthy and get JaVale McGee going, watch out for this team. And right now they're 9-5, second place in the Southwest, few games behind San Antonio. But they're on a 3-game road trip right now. They're playing Memphis tonight, and we'll get you an update on that score. But right now they're getting blown out in Memphis. But I think the plan was to not play so hard for the Memphis game and really load up for tomorrow night when they play San Antonio the night before Thanksgiving. So that's going to be the game they want to try to really, really get into. But I like the Mavs team, and it's growing on me. Wes Matthews, Chandler Parsons, when he's able to play a full game, they're growing on me. This team kind of, to me, feels different. It feels a little more special than the last teams we've had the last 3 years. And I want to get your opinion on that, too, because the way they're made up, it's a new cast of characters, but there's some guys at the back. Dirk's playing well. Darren Williams is kind of fit in. And I guess I'm getting excited about this team this year.
Zaza Pachulia. No. What's exciting about the Mavericks is they've got centers. Okay?
Good point.
That is a crucial thing to have in basketball is a center. Like, everybody's doing the small ball thing right now. Everybody's small ball and putting points up, run and shoot. But at a certain point, you're going to run into a team like San Antonio where you need to have a center in there to move that ball through. And not only just a center, not just someone who can catch the ball and throw it over to a small forward or somebody, out on the paint. Out on the, around the arc, but someone that can work the ball in the paint and become a producer. Mm-hmm. Like, how Hakeem Olajuwon, you could run an offense through Hakeem Olajuwon, but he's also going to score and produce. Nobody's really taking center play as serious as, heck, Kobe Bryant was taking tutelage from Hakeem Olajuwon in Houston during off seasons to work on his post game.
Right.
Those are the kind of things that Mark Cuban should probably spend money on with his centers to get them to start producing a point.
Playing with their back to the basket.
Yeah. Imagine if you had a center that a 7-footer that not only that you're running an offense and he's distributing the ball, but he's also able to back down. Like you say, he's making those hook shots.
Yeah.
He's blocking those shots. He's getting those rebounds.
I saw him hit 8 straight points in the game. I was shocked.
Yeah. Imagine him with a Hakeem the Dream fadeaway.
Well, it could be.
It could be. But it's like the quarterback situation in NFL. We're just not training centers in college to do what they need to do in the league.
Well, they'll spend enough time in college. That's a whole nother subject right there. You got kids playing this grown man's game, but at the same time, I like what they're doing. I like the way they're moving. We even saw Justin Anderson go down to the D League with the Legends and had 27 points in the game. And he was actually back with them the next day. So
yeah.
The team's shaping up exactly like how it needs to be.
It's a good mix.
It's a good
young
mix
and
so
old.
Far. Yeah, good
veterans
guys.
and rookies and
no Rondo distractions.
Yeah.
No Lamar Odom distractions.
Yeah.
No OJ Mayo distractions. Monte Ellis distractions.
We got a lot of quiet ballers.
Team of guys that really want to play.
Like, who's the big name dude on the roster? Dirk.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like Dirk and Darren Williams and Chandler Parsons. A lot of people like Chandler Parsons.
Shout out to D. Will, man. I was really on the fence about him coming here when he dissed us that last time we wanted him to come when we really needed him. But I've been impressed with what he's done so far and the way he's bought into playing with Dirk and playing with Rick Carlisle. Because Rick Carlisle is the question mark for any player that comes to Dallas. How well do you and Carlisle get along? And he is so tough on point guards.
Oh, yeah.
He's tough on point guards. He was tough on Rondo. He was tough on Devin Harris. I mean, he's tough on every point guard. Barea. We saw him, play all kinds of point guards at times. So he's tough. Darren Collison. So I'm really impressed about the way they're getting along. And time will tell, of course, but right now, I like the chemistry that I see.
And it's good. It's early in the season right now. You want to see a basketball team form and gel and have that chemistry to kind of know where each other is going to be on the court. Especially some of these guys, it's their first time playing a full season with one another. And like you said, there's no egos there. There's no big name guy that wants to be in front of the microphone all the time or wants to be in front of the camera all the time. Just a bunch of guys who just want to win. And I think it's the culture of the Mavericks that is starting to come out of their locker room that hopefully you'll see go into the stands. Because I've always said the Mavericks fans are some of the worst fans ever.
Yeah, you don't like the way they cheer.
Yeah, they're not intelligent fans at all. Like, they're cheering when you need to not be cheering. Like, it's like the Cowboys fans. Tony Romo's trying to move down the field and they're screaming and stuff. He's trying to call an audible. It's like, shut up. Cheer when you want to cheer. You watch the Mavericks game sometime and they're just like, it's third quarter and everybody's just like hanging out. It's like, oh yeah, we just had fun at the bar.
Right.
And stuff. We're just going to sit here and you're not in LA. You're in Dallas. Stand up. Cheer. Now you have other sports towns and big shout outs to the Stars, but you have other sports towns that have anthems, things that people know that when you go to that stadium, it's going to go down. Like, it's going to be a fun-filled time. We're going to do this, just like at the Raiders game, at the 7th inning stretch, that country music's going to start going, and you're going to get it in, and that's just part of it. But at Dallas, we don't have anything like that. It's almost like we're this pretty the pretty team of Texas and San Antonio is just grinding down there.
Yeah.
So, we need to get together as fans and, we've got the fat boy dancers, but we need to come up with some things that are legacy things, things that other fans want to come here to see. Who wants to come to the AAC?
You're an entertaining guy. Don't talk about it. Be about it. You put it together. You could go out there and change things at the AAC. And by the way, to show you that I'm serious about what I say, we're going to start a hashtag campaign. Hashtag OmieD at AAC.
Let's
hashtag OmieD at AAC.
Let's do it. If it
to
starts,
get him, we want you on the camera. We want you hosting it. We want your entertaining opinions at the AAC for the Mavs games.
Let's do it. I'd be a blast at the playoffs. Plus, our little kids be doing the things at halftime and stuff. Oh man, let's do it. And Sage Steele will be there. Hey, Sage.
Hashtag OmieD at AAC.
Let's do it.
Before we wrap up our show, I want to ask you one last NBA question real fast. I want to talk to you about the Golden State Warriors. They are on the precipice, I guess that's the good word to use, of having the longest winning streak to start an NBA season. I think by the time some of you guys download this and listen to it, they probably will have that streak when they play the Lakers. I mean, starts in a few
Lakers
minutes,
like 2-50?
something like that. So, but I want to ask you, how long can this team go undefeated? This question was raised to me by someone on Twitter. They said, do you think that they could go undefeated to Christmas now, when they play the Cleveland Cavaliers?
So is that when first time they're gonna meet up against the Cavaliers?
Yes.
All right. Let me look at something right here.
Can they go undefeated?
Cavaliers is a good place for them to actually drop a game, but
can they be undefeated when that happens? That's the question. But from now to Christmas,
6 weeks.
That's a lot of games.
I said 6. It's about 20-something games. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Roughly about 20, 25 games. Looking at the Golden State. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's like 10 games. Ain't that long. 10, maybe 15 games.
Yeah, but it says about 10 games.
Let's see. Phoenix, Sacramento, Utah, Charlotte, Toronto, Brooklyn, Indiana, Boston, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Milwaukee, Utah, Cleveland. Yeah, they got a good chance.
Those are all teams they could beat easily.
Yeah, they got a good chance. Like, they're playing Utah out west, Sacramento, Phoenix. Phoenix could be a slip-up game. There's a couple slip-up games in here. Phoenix, Toronto, and Milwaukee. And
they've already beat Toronto. They beat them already at home.
Still.
So
there's just those, to me, those are trip-up games. And then the Bucks, young team, like we said last time on late.
Young team, but again,
we're
talking about.
Do I think
Steph
they're going to be? Yeah, I think they'll be undefeated at Christmas.
Okay,
but
that's how I want to get your. That's what I think.
Trip-up games there.
They're always trip-up games.
But those guys, like LeBron James said, if that team stays healthy, when will they lose?
Right.
When will they lose? You watch how they rotate the ball.
Are you surprised to hear LeBron say something like that?
No.
He's a realist.
I think LeBron is a very intelligent person. He grows every year. Last season he was kind of frustrated in the playoffs, and he said some things about being the best player in the world and stuff like that. And I think he grows from things like that. But he's a realist about his opponents. Like, these guys are playing off the meat rack. Yeah. You don't want to be that 80 team. They're not that good. Right, and this, that, and the other.
We can beat them.
Yeah, we can beat them. And then you come get dusted off by 25. Like, that team, when they get on the shooting streak, and if you can't rotate and get out on those guys, man, they'll put you down by 12 within 45 to a minute.
Right.
Because they just transition. And Steph Curry, it don't even matter if he's got his eyes open.
No.
He's putting it through the basket.
He shoot it any kind of way once with his legs.
Yeah.
Eyes closed.
From the sideline.
Elbows only.
With a Samsung phone in his hand.
Yeah, man.
It don't matter. It's a killer team. They will be undefeated at Christmas. If not undefeated.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be
amazing. That'd be amazing. They would put them in rare company. They would actually be right there. They'd be better than that 72-10 Michael Jordan team.
Can you imagine only losing 10 games?
Yeah, it's so
if you lose less than 10 games, bro, out of an 82 game season,
yeah,
you lose
9 games. 6 games.
You lose 6 games. Bro.
Killing it. And then you go to the playoffs and don't lose not 1 game.
And see, here's the problem with that. Is the team going to play out energy-wise? Are they going to run themselves at such a high pace?
Injuries going to happen.
Yeah.
All that plays a factor.
Will it catch up with them after February?
Mm-hmm.
And in the NBA, everything depends on what happens after the All-Star break.
True.
Where you sit at the All-Star break, because that's when the playoff picture starts. I'm pretty sure Golden State's going to be, after their start right now, 15-0, they're in the playoffs.
Well, the Clippers are winning right now, but it's early. But they're 8 games behind the Warriors in their own division. 8 games.
That's a mile, especially if they're not
They've
losing.
only played 13 games, and they're 8 games behind.
You ain't won no games.
8 games behind.
You ain't won no games.
They got a winning record. They got a, good record. 500 record.
Everybody expected way more from the Clippers because they kept DeAndre Jordan. But,
terrible.
That's
a whole nother topic for another show. But let's get this thing wrapped up. I want to thank you guys for listening tonight. Make sure you tune in again. Same time, same channel. Go back and download the podcast on iTunes. Just search for Omie D and Fish. Or go to ntsgame.com where you can download it there as well. The Omie D and Fish Show. We'll be back next Tuesday. I'll be on the road. Omie D will be in studio, but I will be here. I'll be ready to go. Tell a friend. You find a new place to listen to Sports Talk. Coming to you live from the south side of the Trinity. For myself, Fish, and Omie D.
Got to go make some biscuits, baby.
Let's get out of here.
Let's roll.